There was this fascinating psychology study done in the 1950s by this guy named Solomon Asch. He was a psychologist, which makes sense. Psychologists did a psychology study. It's what they do sometimes. But what it was like a focus group setting. And it took place over several years, but when they would run it, this was the setup, and the test subjects were male university students. So it was like a focus group setting of 8 people, and 7 of them were like actors or in on it. And so they would rotate in. They were studying like how the one person who was not in on this would react. And the test subjects thought it was like a visual perception type study they were taking part in. But it was this conformity study, and like how we are affected by the herd, and like how we manage all that. So they had 2 cards. One card would always stay the same. It was a reference card of with 3 different length lines on it. Like A, B, and C, short, medium, and long length lines. And then they would rotate out each round. They would hold up another card. And so your job in this focus group was to just go around the circle and say which line this matched up to, when they would hold up the other card, is this the short line or the medium line or the long line? And it wasn't all too difficult. It wasn't like tiny minuscule changes or like an optical illusion or anything, because they wanted to make it pretty clear and obvious what it actually was. So that didn't like affect the study, because the study is how many people are willing to go along with the group. And so they do a few rounds first where all the actors would say the right answer when they would hold up the card, like, okay, that's the shortest line. And then, the test subject would say 100% of the time would say the right answer as well. And then what they're actually testing, of course, is when everyone would go around the circle, all the actors would say an obviously wrong answer confidently or, normally. And they wanted to see how this test subject would they go along with what everyone else was saying, or would they say what they could see with their eyes was obviously the right answer? And the results were 75% of the time, or not 75% of the time, 75% of participants conformed with the group on the obviously wrong answer at least once. And it was about 33% of the time participants went along with the group if you were just like looking at how often that happened on a round-to-round basis, which is staggering, because when they were isolated, it was like 100%, 99, statistically insignificant, basically unanimous. They would always get the right answer if they were alone and matching up the line to the card. So that it shows it's not like some trick or visual trick in that way. So it's something you would know 100% of the time, and you would know with your eyes what the right answer is. But yet 75% of the participants just ignored that and went along with the group at least once. But I think the most powerful part of this study was they would do more rounds after that, and they would have just one. So all of the actors would say the wrong answer, but just one would say the right answer. So you had six of the group agreeing on the wrong answer, supposedly, but just one person would say, no, it's B, it's actually B, or whatever. And in that case, it just skyrocketed to like 95% or more. It was just crazy. It was almost all of the time when just one other person said the right answer that the test subject would also say what they were seeing was obviously the right answer. And so I think that part of it's really cool, because it just shows, sometimes it just takes one person like telling the truth